Everyone, thank you for being here today with us on this momentous occasion. I would request all of you here today to put your phones on silent mode, please. Thank you. Without further ado, we now proceed to the first session of the day, the Lighthouse Initiative or LHI. Some journeys are more exciting than the destination itself. However, where LHI is concerned, the destination is also equally exciting and satisfying as the journey. The Lighthouse Initiative is a unique example of a public-private partnership where the government and corporate partners come together to make a difference with ISC as a facilitator. This project was launched this January across 15 states covering 78 Gram Panchayats, aligned with the commemoration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Today's session is all about sharing experiences and learnings by state representatives as well as corporates after 1 year of having successfully worked together. Let us hear about this initiative from Minister Shri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat about this initiative and its impact on rural India.
India Sanitation Coalition at FICCI has assumed a very significant role in the public-private partnership space in water and sanitation in the country. Lighthouse Initiative is a wonderful example from which I would like to quote a few things. LHI was a truly unique partnership model, as it is for the very first time that corporate houses went beyond their catchment areas to adopt an entire Gram Panchayat for SLWM interventions for attaining the ODF plus model status. It was also unique in its agility to respond to the needs of the community. While initially the corporates extends their support around the software component of SBMG, including IC and capacity building initiatives, once the community and local governments voiced their need for capital investment for raising water and sanitation infrastructure also, the corporates were quick to respond to the need. Today I am pleased to say that we have nearly achieved the Lighthouse status for 75 Gram Panchayats across 15 states of the country, aligned with the commemoration of Bharat's 75 years of independence. LHI Phase 2 is to be launched soon with support from nearly 40 big corporate houses covering more than 1,000 Gram Panchayats.
Now, let us welcome Ms. Vinny Mahajan, Secretary, Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation, Jal Shakti, Government of India, and request her to share her perspectives and thoughts on this very important initiative for which she was the primary proponent.
Naina ji and the senior leadership at the India Sanitation Coalition, my colleagues from the department and the states, corporate partners. It is such a privilege to be here once more, looking back and looking forward to this unique effort that we began last year around corporate partnership with the local bodies and the state governments on moving forward something both crucial and, in some sense, difficult. It seems like yesterday when Naina ji, Natasha, all of us were discussing how to move forward, and she mentioned about how the coalition had played a powerful role during the early days, in fact, predating the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan that took the country to ODF status, and what kind of involvement could now be taken forward. And I do believe that this concept, which arose out of a little bit of brainstorming, has in the last 1 year shown how robust an effort it's been, and what kind of lasting and useful contribution it has made on ground. We started with a limited number. I know Natasha and her colleagues had challenges originally in getting hold of corporates and getting them to understand what was expected of them. And I remember I kept hammering that we are not looking for actual capital to go into the projects. We are looking for, as the minister also put it, the softer inputs of supporting on ISC, supporting with building capacities, hand-holding in the very positive sense of the term, and encouraging the communities to look at their issues for themselves, look at appropriate solutions and take them forward. That was hard, because I think it's, in some sense, it's easier for a corporate to put something in, have a nice project up there, and then, move on. It's so much harder to actually engage with local communities and to understand the gaps and try and fill them. And so I'm so pleased that this effort has actually moved in that direction, and that the panchayats which were taken up originally have benefited so much from this participation. So as you all know, what we have been trying to do through the Swachh Bharat Mission Grameen Phase 2 is no less than looking at the waste originating in each and every rural household, trying to put it in the bucket of solid or liquid waste, in turn trying to see whether it's wet waste, organic waste which can be composted, or if possible can even be taken through the so-called Gobardhan approach of drawing from the organic waste both the gas element, biogas or compressed biogas, depending on the quantities, and the compost, the organic manure, and getting that to recharge in some sense the fields. And also then looking at the other component of solid waste, which is the plastic or the non-biodegradable waste, and seeing how that is to be pulled out of the houses into some kind of community arrangements, a segregation shed, a plastic waste management unit, and then in turn how can it be recycled, reused in the most appropriate fashion for that specific kind of waste. We've also, you all know, been looking at the grey water coming out, and as the country moves forward quickly on more and more household tap connections under the Jal Jeevan Mission, we are very pleased that more than 70% of the households are now reported by our partners, the state governments, as having received tap connections, and everywhere else work is going on at a frenetic pace. So as more water goes into the households, more water comes out in the form of waste or grey water, used water. A colleague told me we shouldn't be calling water coming out of the households or anywhere else as wastewater. There's no such thing as wastewater. It's used water, and it needs to be looked at as a resource appropriately treated for reuse, and that's absolutely the correct thing. Whether we use it for the safe recharge of groundwater, or we use it for safe irrigation of the fields, or for safe storage, whatever is appropriate to the situation in that area. And we know also that even as the country has taken pride in its open defecation free status, we still need to be very conscious of the fact that there is a risk of slip back, that particularly amongst the men, if I may say so, the older men, there is a need for continued behavior change communication so that they do not again go back into the old habit of open defecation. The toilets built must remain usable and used. And more than that, we need to now think beyond. if the toilet type is not a twin pit toilet, and we know that a twin pit toilet allows for in situ management of fecal matter, but if it's not, then we need to figure out how is it being emptied. So obviously no manual scavenging. Are there enough vehicles for removing the fecal matter? Does it go to a designated site for treatment, either a sewage treatment plant or a fecal sludge treatment plant? Is there spare capacity in those STPs or FSTPs, or do we need to think of new ones? Or do we need to temporarily look at the existing but keep looking at the need, identify sites and work on new ones? And then for all of this waste management, there is the NIMBY situation also, not in my backyard. So how do we make sure that the communities accept the common facilities for waste management? And that's why we are constantly discussing with all our colleagues in the states. Let's make waste management facilities bright and attractive, paint them, make them look good. They shouldn't be looking like dumps and stinking to high hell. Let's make them into actual waste management facilities rather than dumping grounds or areas which are not desirable or which drive down property prices. So this is the overarching context. And of course, we are so pleased at the strong efforts being made all over the country. Many of my colleagues are represented here. The strong efforts that are moving the country towards an ODF plus status for the villages, well over 80%. I think yesterday's numbers are more like 82 point something percent of the villages have declared themselves as ODF plus, which means they've moved forward on either solid or liquid waste management. What's more pleasing in some senses that close to 1,15,000 villages out of about 6 lakh villages in the country have said that they have reached ODF plus model status. Now, obviously there could still be gaps. What the village interprets as a complete management of its solid and liquid waste may still be requiring some more interventions. The village itself might have done its part, but have we also ensured that the waste which goes out of the village, whether fecal matter or liquid waste or plastic or other non-biodegradable, is that being dealt with properly? So there are those issues still, but clearly all over the country, communities are recognizing the issue. And what is more important is that we are doing this in not just a whole of government approach, whole of government of course, because several ministries of the Government of India, the state governments and the rural local bodies at all levels are working together on this, but also whole of society approach. And really sanitation, like so many other issues, is one which can move ahead in a really sustainable manner only if we actually have a whole of society networked into the issue. The corporates, of course, are a very, very significant part of society. As we were coming into this hall, Nainaji reminded me about the role of FICCI through the 1930s, through the independence movement. FICCI in particular, but corporate India and industry in general are very important stakeholders in the country's progress on a path which is environmentally sustainable. And it's our strength that Indian industry, represented by the leadership present here today and otherwise joining in this effort, are so acutely aware that it's the sustainability that needs attention to issues like solid and liquid waste management that is really going to make the India of our dreams come true. And that's important not just for us as citizens, but also for corporate India as a powerful part of this journey. So I congratulate the India Sanitation Coalition and all the partners, the corporate leaders, as well as my colleagues from states and the local bodies who have worked together on this initiative. I hope and believe that it's not just about transforming 75 villages or even 75 districts or even more. It's more about internalizing the importance of the issue, about recognizing that yes, there is an issue, but yes, there are solutions that we either know about or that we can help in innovating around. Because none of this is really set in stone. If we are pushing today the states that they must ensure that plastic waste appropriate for use in road construction must flow there, and about 8% of bitumen must get replaced by plastic waste in the road construction process, there's possibly many other innovative solutions that are possible. So what are we doing about those kind of waste? Can we innovate a little bit more around construction and demolition waste, for example? So important in urban areas, but also in peri-urban areas. And we know that the rural India is a whole mix of very remote hamlets, maybe in forest or hills, but also right next to a local body. The area right outside a municipal corporation could technically be a rural local body, would be technically a panchayat, but actually have many of the characteristics of the city to which it is attached. And how do we make sure that these peri-urban areas are able to converge their requirements and their resources with the corresponding urban area and take care of issues here while also being aware of the challenges of relatively less densely populated, more typical rural areas? How do we make sure that when we travel on a train, and I traveled on a train after a very long time recently, so whenever you do that, you cannot but help notice out of the window, I'm not even talking about the challenges of fecal matter which must be there, but plastic waste. You see all kinds of plastic waste strewn along the railway track. Similarly for roads, any common area that you see is likely to be a little dump. How do we get these challenges sorted out? So in a nutshell, what we are expecting from this effort is no less than a recognition of and an understanding of the issues, an awareness that something needs to be done, the confidence that something can be done for sure, and a spirit of let's do it. Let's do it with whatever technology and solutions and mechanisms we have at the moment, even as we keep innovating and trying and thinking about possible new and better solutions. But this is an issue that cannot brook any delay. We need to work now, and we need to work in a multidimensional context. So again, a shout to the corporate leadership present today and otherwise participating with the India Sanitation Coalition, not just in the villages in which you're working, not just in the towns and cities that you're working. Let's make this a part of our culture so that our employees understand, and in their own behavior or in whichever way they can, they participate in this effort, even if it's something as simple as segregating your own household waste. Are we making sure our vendors, any other stakeholders that we are that we have some influence over, or at least some connect with, can we make sure that they also at least appreciate the issue, understand the possible solutions, and also become aware of what can they do about it? And almost everyone can do something about this story. So this is not just a call for action, it's a call for internalizing the issues. And I hope once we are able to do that, we will also definitely be able to make an impact on the situation that we are in currently. And we know that that's possible because of the rapid pace with which in all kinds of remote and peri-urban and other villages we are seeing progress If we can see it there, we are definitely going to see it across the country. And finally, do make sure that the women are fully involved in this effort. Water and sanitation are issues that affect women more. I'm neither a feminist nor a misogynist when I say this. Culturally, traditionally, women have been more engaged. A recent study by the WHO says that every single day, 6.6 crore hours are spent in fetching water for the home. And guess what? 75% of that is by women. It's completely sort of in line with what we would intuitively also believe. Women still manage the households much more than men. I hope that will keep changing as we go forward. But today it is true. And so let's see women not just as beneficiaries or affected persons, but potentially as leaders in this effort. There are strong self-help groups all across the country, led by women working on various issues. Not many of them have thought of services in the wash sector as potential economic activities that they can do. Let's try and see if we can steer them in that direction. I do believe that if women get involved, I've seen women self-help groups saying, yes, we are able to collect 30 rupees per household per month for taking out the waste from houses in villages. I'm not talking about Delhi and cities, but it's doable because there is a felt need. There is that much purchasing power even to purchase sanitation services. We just need to marry the demand and the supply side. And I believe self-help groups as an institution are a very powerful way of doing that. So this is my one last request to everybody, to use this strong network in whichever way we can to move this agenda forward. And I thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and to talk to you, but more importantly, thank you Nainaji and the whole team at the India Sanitation Coalition and all the corporate partners for the very valuable work you're doing. We look forward to taking this forward in LHI 2, which we promise we'll be back with very quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, Winnie Mahajan ma'am, for these wonderful, encouraging words. We look forward to your continuous guidance, as has been all this way and ahead. Now we have a series of presentations by our government and corporate partners sharing their experiences on the Lighthouse Initiative. But before that, there is a very exciting news which we received this morning. Bihar, one of our LHI states, now has all 8 GPs declared as model. So it is only prudent that we start with Bihar today. I request Shri Rahul Kumar Ji, State Mission Director, Bihar, to share his experiences with us under LHI. This would be followed by a presentation by Mr. K. Binoy Menon, Regional Manager, ITC. ITC is implementing the LHI project in 10 states across India.
Yes. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Respected Secretary Ma'am, Naina Ma'am, Natasha Ji, Sanjeev Shekhar Ji, my colleague Rajesh Ji, the representatives of corporates. I would like to mention ITC, who is our partner in Bihar, all the respected dignitaries on dais and in the hall. First of all, I would like to thank ISC for giving me this opportunity to share Bihar's experience in LHI journey. And at the onset, I would like to thank Vinny Mahajan ma'am for providing us continuous support and guidance. So before I start my presentation on LHI, as we all know that yesterday and day before yesterday Bihar was celebrating its biggest festival Chhath, and I would like to share one anecdote or my own experience since I belong to Bihar. And cleaning of ghats, cleaning of all the roads leading to ghats were always a community business. From my childhood, we never looked up to government machinery or any PRI framework for cleaning Chhath ghats. Cut to present day. When we started our journey in ODF phase 2 and we took up SLWM work, 80,000 sanitation workers are doing SLWM work in more than half of the panchayats, near about 68 to 70% panchayats. And last week I received many mails, calls from local community that our ghats are not being cleaned by sanitation worker. So the kind of aspiration, I am saying because 70% of panchayats we have taken so far. So some calls were from those panchayats and most of the calls from other part of Bihar where we have not started work. But the cleaning of legacy waste, the cleaning of ghats, the cleaning of roads, the cleaning of water bodies, the inlet, outlet, this kind of things. So public in rural area are expecting now that the system should work and sanitation is real need of the rural community. So these are few photos from the Chhath, and this I received from my teams in the field. Yeah. So in ODF phase 1, when we did our baseline in 2011-12, Bihar was having only 39 lakh household with toilet out of 1.8 crore household. So it was nearly 20%, 22%. And between 2014 to 19, 1.22 crore IHHLs were constructed by beneficiaries through IEC, through BCC. Even the coverage, we know that we are still in the bottom league of states, and in fact in Bihar, if you see, all 19 districts of North Bihar are flood prone. Every year or once in 2 years, all the districts faces severe floods, and most of the toilet, most of the rural infrastructure get washed away. So the sustainability, the retrofitting, these are the challenges for us, and we face these challenges every year. Still, in the last 2 years, we have been able to construct 1.5 million additional toilets, and the NFSA data shows that in rural Bihar the total household is 1.8 crore. So we have been able so far to reach up to 1.75 crore. So maybe by the end of this financial year we will be reaching the saturation, but still the sustainability is a bigger challenge, and we are looking forward to engage PRI and engage all the stakeholders to maintain this saturation. When we reached ODF phase 2, in Bihar there was one unique coincidence. Our panchayat elections were due in 2020, but due to COVID it was affected, and we got elections conducted in 2021. And interestingly, 80 to 85% Mukhiya, the earlier Mukhiyas got defeated, and 80%, more than 80% Mukhias were elected for the first time. One of those Mukhias is with us, Komal Kumari ji, who got award yesterday. So this created a unique problem for us because 80% Mukhias were new, so we had to work on their capacity. And in 2021, we decided that we will not go for phase 2, ODF phase 2 all together in all the panchayats. So we selected 20% panchayats to start with. So if you can see in 21-22, we took only 1600 odd panchayats. Then in next year we took additional 30%, and once we were confident, so this year we took rest of the 50% panchayats. So we sent funds to panchayat, 70% of the panchayat so far, and if you see all the indicators from procurement to construction of waste processing unit to grey water management, fecal sludge management, plastic waste management. So we have achieved remarkable on all the indicators so far. But the most important thing is in the right bottom, the user charges collection. In half of the panchayats where we reached till last year, we started convincing people that we cannot make all these initiatives sustainable unless and until community is involved. And to our surprise, most of the household, more than 70 lakh households are paying user charges recently, and we have been able to collect approx 10 crore rupees so far. Ma'am, 30 rupees, yes ma'am. But ma'am, we are also pushing for the commercial premises to pay on higher side. Yes ma'am. Yes ma'am. And as district magistrate, when I was working and when Jal Jeevan Mission was started, Bihar, it was started in 2016 ma'am as a state program. Even after completion of 5 years, almost no household was ready to pay user charges. So if we are able to collect this much user charges, it is an indicator that these services are reaching to doorstep of rural household. Then only people are ready to pay for door-to-door waste collection. So before LHI, we had our collaboration started with ITC in February 2022, especially for Ganga Grams. We have more than 268 Ganga Gram Panchayats, and we requested ITC especially for two things. One, for the technical support, especially in grey water management, because most of the rural drainage, they were going to the Ganges, and it was a real challenge for us under Namami Gange also, and to maintain the local, because as I was mentioning, especially for the religious purposes, cultural purposes, Chhat and everything. So Ganges is we know holy river, so we requested ITC to support us technically on capacity building and also for the IEC and documentation purpose. When the LHI was launched, I was fortunate to be a part of its launch event, and in July 2022, the ITC was allotted to us, or Bihar was allotted to ITC, and I won't be hesitant to say that most of the corporates were apprehensive to take Bihar, and ITC came forward, but they were ready only to take 8 Gram Panchayats. So I remember we had a meeting with Natasha ji and Sanjeev Shekhar ji with ITCT came to Patna, and we had a meeting in September last year. So I suggested to change few of the villages, and in fact I suggested ITC to take only those villages who fell in their jurisdiction of Ganga grams. because I also wanted this LHI to be a successful model. We could not afford it to be a failure. So I suggested, and actually in my mind we wanted these Ganga Grams, these LHI to be immersion point for all of our other districts and other panchayat. So in this December 2022, the DPR was prepared, and I am happy that only in 9 months of time, September 23, 7 of our 8 Gram Panchayats were declared model, and one, my team just informed me that the last one also was declared model today morning. So I will talk about the challenges, but Bihar has more than 8,000 Gram Panchayats. So number wise, we know that 8 Gram Panchayat is insignificant, but the confidence it gave to us, because if all the stakeholders come together, the community, the PRI, the corporate partner, the government machinery, then this thing can happen even in a shorter span of time. So the role was, yes ma'am, yes ma'am, non-ODF. So from non-ODF to model, yes ma'am, in 9 months of time. So these were 30 revenue villages in 8 Gram Panchayats. The roles were defined: SBMG, ITC and ISC. We all know about this. So from participatory field management, the community was involved in preparing the route chart, where will we have our junction chamber, where will we have our drainage system, especially community sanitary complex, especially waste processing unit. And as ma'am was saying in her speech, that not in my backyard, that problem is a real problem. When I was working as district magistrate, finding land for waste processing unit in all the panchayats is a difficult task. But the more difficult task is to convince the community that we can have our WPU here, and it is not going to affect your day-to-day life. It is not going to affect the value of your land. But we keep getting requests from all the spheres of society that please construct WPU, but don't construct it here, construct it somewhere else. So that was a bigger challenge, but thanks to Secretary ma'am came to Patna, and she had a meeting with Chief Secretary and all the DMs, and after that, out of 8,000 Gram Panchayats, 96% Gram Panchayats have identified their land, and if more than 6,000 Gram Panchayats, either we have constructed our WPU or the work is under progress. So these are few photographs. We had our village data collection and we synced it with our GPDP. Again, we had key stakeholders meeting. We imparted training in cascading manner, and we had transit walk of GP with all the stakeholders to identify the legacy waste, to identify where the problem lies, especially identification of this kind of site. These were the process indicators decided mutually by ISC and SBMG. So all of the indicators we progressed, and the documentation of journey, ISC needs to do this. But one more thing I would like to highlight: the community. We always, since I am heading the livelihood mission in a state, the SH movement, we call it Jivika. So we always think that we suggest something and community are hesitant, or maybe the new idea, the new technology, whether it will be we will be able to convince them or not. But every time, without fail, community outsmart us. Every time we go with certain idea and they welcome the new idea with open arms. And these new things, for example, kitchen garden. Land is a scarce commodity, but in Jivika we have more than 20 lakh 2 million kitchen gardens in SAG household, because they have very they don't have big parcel of lands. Still we are able to manage 20 lakh kitchen gardens, and this is addressing two challenges at least. First, the household grey water management, and the second thing, all the nutritional indicators. We promote drumstick, growing drumstick in the backyard, and we are addressing the malnutrition that way. So these things are happening. And one more thing, since I am in a unique position, I am also looking after the climate action program of state, Jal Jeevan Haryali mission. So I would like to cite one more example. So we are developing water bodies, we are rejuvenating it, we are reviving all our water bodies from climate action program, Jal Jeevan Haryali mission. From sanitation side, from SBMG, we are ensuring that the drainage going to those water bodies receive only clean water as far as possible. And the third, the linkage for livelihood. We are handing over these rejuvenated water bodies with inlet and outlet to women SAG, and they are having fisheries and allied activities, ensuring the livelihood opportunity for this SAG. So this is unique convergent framework where we are dealing with climate change, sanitation and livelihood. So Bihar is showing the way in a way, and I was mentioning this to Naina ma'am yesterday, and she was like surprised that why don't we know in Delhi. So I would request ISC to take this work also, because the possibility is everywhere. When we talk about grey water management, why can't we integrate the water bodies with livelihood, and the junctioning can be done by the sanitation component. So these are few numbers, our achievements so far under LHI. In capacity building, we believe that this is the most important thing, because we won't be there forever, and ideally it should not be the case that government functionaries or the system should be at work forever. So we trained our PRI members in these 8 gram panchayats, in these in these 8 gram panchayats, we trained more than 700 PRI members and more than 6,000 other stakeholders, government teachers, ASHA, ANM, Anganwadi worker, ward member, everyone. And a round of meetings, training through audio visuals. So it took a lot of time, but now we are confident that the capacity is there, the willingness is there. So if we go from 8 to 8,000, there won't be much problem. This is one more unique thing. So ITC gave us this Swachhta app, and here we are able to know how many households our sanitation workers go every day to collect waste, how many households are actually segregating waste at source. So all these data are coming through this app. So we requested ITC to we want it to the app to be replicated in all the panchayats where ITC is not working, other than Ganga Gram Panchayat. And one more thing which is not part of this presentation, but we also got an award for our DCMS, Digital Communication Management System, which we developed in collaboration with UNICEF and DMA, Development Management Institute, Patna. Through that app or through that dashboard, we are able to send messages related to behavioral change in one go to lakhs of the household. And on the other hand, we are also able to take their feedback through that app only about their suggestion about the quality of our sanitation services to household. So that DCMS, we have more than 2.25 lakh registered user, and we started just few months back. And in one click of mouse, we are able to send messages to these 2.25 lakh households, and we can also have app based calls to those households, and behavioral changes message, and on segregation of waste, how to use 2 separate bins, and how to use how to dispose the sanitary waste. Everything we are including in our DCMS. There are few good practices. For example, there is one panchayat in LHI Itahari. So we sent our 3 district teams, Begusarai, Khagaria and Saharsa, to that panchayat, and all the PRA member, our block coordinators, they visited that immersion site. Similarly, Bihar, as I said earlier, that we went in a phase manner, 20%, then 30%, then 50%. So we have more than 4,000 panchayats in ODF plus category, more than 11,000 villages in ODF plus category, but we don't have any model block or model district, because we selected only n number of gram panchayat in that block or district. But here, because of LHI in Bhagalpur, there is one block, Ismailpur, it became model, because the impact of LHI, other gram panchayat also came ahead, and they kind of healthy competition, because all other mukhiyas, they also want to make their gram panchayat models, and they request us to send fund, and many panchayats were not originally part of our funding mechanism for that year, but they became model. Similarly, this toolkit demonstration during more than 2,500 training session, and we also conducted some special sessions for our IEC. These are audio visual ruts. Legacy waste campaign we carry out during festival season, and also like ministry launched Swachhta Hi Seva campaign. So we kind of saturated these LHI and Ganga Gram during Swachhta Hi Seva campaign. We also involved Jivika members, and there is kind of very good coordination between SHG and sanitation worker. We also ensured that our sanitation worker who are getting very less remuneration, so we covered them with all kind of social security services, the pension, the Ayushman card. So we organized special camps for our sanitation worker and sanitation supervisors. On every possible opportunity, be it World Toilet Day, be it Saras Fair, be it District Formation Day, or CM Yatra, or State Formation Day, Bihar Divas, every time in last 1 year we showcased our LHI initiative, and we got very good appreciation from the community and all the stakeholders. So this is our waste to wealth slide. The manure, the compost, we involved KVK, and we got our this manure certified by the lab, and we are promoting local branding. For example, this is in Gopalganj. Similarly, Champaran has Champaran Khad, so that the WPU can get higher prices for this compost, and the local community should also feel a connect with their local brand. So this is the last slide. I actually, during ODF phase 1, we faced a multi-pronged challenges, because at one side there were many families who were landless, and it was very difficult to convince them to construct a toilet when they were hand to mouth. At the other hand, there were many families who had pakka houses, motorcycle, tractor, smartphone, but they didn't have toilet because of traditional practices, because of it was not a part of their priority. So we were facing multi-pronged challenges, and we believe that only government can't do alone. We needed support from all the stakeholders, from PRI, from non-profit organization, from corporate. Similarly, when we are talking about SLWM, the challenges are still bigger, because we are not constructing anything for individual household, but mostly for the community. So the participation from community, their role, it is difficult to convince them. So we are not asking for financial support, as ma'am was saying, because for example, if we talk about the ODF phase 1, 1.22 crore, only in Bihar, SBMG spent more than 12,000 crore rupees as incentive payment, only as incentive payment. So it was not like the contractor driven system, when we could have given this tender to some contractor and asked them to build 1 crore toilet. But we have seen in past what had happened to earlier contractor driven construction. So involvement of community from end to end is very important. So is important the support from all the stakeholders. So as Bihar has shown, here I would request to ISC, in the next phase of LHAI, ITC or any other corporate should come ahead and take more number of panchayats. And one more request from my side, we are facing difficulties in managing our grey water and also fecal sludge. So for fecal sludge management, we have invited partners from other part of countries as well. But for grey water management in Bihar is the state with, we are the most dense state, and the land is scarce commodity. So the WSP or DEWATs cannot be a solution for Bihar. So I request all the sectoral experts who are working in water and sanitation to come with the localized solution for Bihar, because the easier part we are we have covered so far, the solid waste, but the liquid waste, the used water, the treatment to used water, we are still a long way to go. So with this I would conclude my presentation, and I would again like to thank ISC, Naina ma'am, and most importantly respected Secretary ma'am for all the support. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rahul Kumarji. It was indeed wonderful to hear about Bihar's achievements and the journey that it's completed from non-ODF status to model today. Now I call upon Mr. Binoy Menon, Regional Manager ITC, for sharing a few, for presenting on Bihar.
Very good morning, respected Secretary ma'am, Bini Mahajan ma'am, Naina ma'am, Rahul sir, ISC team complete, my colleagues from corporate, SMDs and other state officials. It is generally very easy when you when Rahul sir has already presented half of our journey together. And I will just touch upon some of the parameter which we as corporate could add value. So there are some words which is written in the back. For the sake of others, I will just read out. Food, gender, education, plastic, SLWM, nutrition, hunger, water. These were the words which we tried to incorporate in the whole journey of LHI, ma'am. I will just try upon touching all those things, specifically the gender component, which is in the corner where I am sitting, which is very valuable in that way. So it was very easy, specifically in Bihar context, because Rahul sir was also handling Jivika. So onboarding and such a thick network of women SHG was very useful for us. In many of the forums, we generally use public-private partnership. In our PPT, we just try to add one more component called community. So we are calling it as public-private community partnership, because that component many times we miss out. So I just wanted to create, because that scalability is only been done, ma'am, when that community partnership is been focused upon. And that is what we tried it in LHI. Scalable and sustainable, the both SS comes with that community partnership. I would like to thank DDWS, FICCI, ISC, and LSBA for giving us this opportunity. I am Binoy, I represent ITC Limited. We are a corporate, so why are we here? So we have done around 15 large scalable public-private community partnership across country in different states. One which Rahul sir has mentioned was one large partnership, Ganga Gram, which was very critical because Ganga location, I started my career in Gujarat and Maharashtra. So it was very easy to talk upon water. But when you come to Ganga area, water is not a constraint in that way, but used water. How do you use that water? The used water properly is something which is more larger constraint. So that is what we wanted to work more on. Solid waste management, so our journey was similar to what the journey of Swachh Bharat mission. We started with access to sanitation. So one success what we learned from there was again using community, specifically SHGs. So initially there was a leverage issue, where will we get the money to the uncovered people. So we started creating a cadre of SHG who would actually lend money to create toilets. So that was something which was very successful for us. Post school, the young minds, focusing on young minds to create the behavior was yet another focus area which we had tried it in our journey. Solid waste management partnership had always a learning experience for us. Either it is urban, rural or institution. Something which we have a larger program is a Green Temple project, which is complete sustainable model. No waste is being generated. So that was very successful thing. One thing which I would like to underline is a strong CBO institution is very important. So that is also a key tenet which we have kept. And the CBOs should be vibrant. They should not just be contributory in sense of active. They also have to be financially contributing to the program. So that is where the success lies in. Anyway, this is the same presentation, the same slides where our roles and responsibility are being given. What I would just like to pitch is that out of the 75 GPs which was a part of ISC's Lighthouse thing, we had a larger chunk of 36. It was a great learning for us, ma'am. I would seriously say it was a great learning across the country, because yesterday somebody was mentioning that for corporate it is easier to move across states. They are more fluid. So we actually leveraged that. So there was a great learning. Somewhere it was beautiful, somewhere little bit more. So, but I would say I would end that circle in my last slide, where that would be more valuable for this particular association. So decentralization, ISC were always been there as a partner, supporting in all. DDWS regular reviews were very successful for us many a times. Then LSBA was always there supporting. I would say it was easier to access Rajesh sir rather than my bosses many a time. So I would say that it was seriously easier for. So that actually acted a lot of value for our team who were working in the field. So same thing, I will just touch upon the last phase, sustenance phase, which is very important. And why it is very important is there comes, because if you don't start that phase in the initial phase itself, we don't start discussing with community that you have to pay, it is your waste, you are responsible for it. If that doesn't happen in the beginning itself, it will fail. So that is a success which we had got. In Bihar, we started talking. So initially when we were discussing on user charges, one thing what Rahul sir said is that, "ठीक है, user charges so collect हो जाएगा, but how will you monitor it?" So that is something which we went back to our boardroom, started discussing, and that app, so all the numbers which Rahul sir regularly gets used to be updated in the software and regularly. So no issues, ma'am, no issues. We are just testing it. We are just testing it to scale up. Yeah, so looking into village resolution was something which we focused upon initially. Commitment from GPs. So LHI, we started initially, when the villages were being given, we started discussing with Mukhyas, ward members that you need to commit on 5 elements. You need to contribute, you need to ensure that the waste will be generated, you need to ensure that decentralization will happen. All those components we focused in the initial stage itself. So that was something. And then campaign mode. Everything was in campaign mode. We said, Alag Karo, it was a campaign. Gangarath, it was a campaign. Everything was continuously in a campaign mode. There was great support from LSBA. हम लेके जाते थे, immediately they will say, let's do it. Everybody were on board. So that was the success which I will again try to pitch in. Well-being of waste pickers, because that is the element, mainstreaming them, and well-being is something which we had done. I will touch upon mildly in the later stage. User charges was yet another something which we focused upon in this particular program. Pilot, I am using them pilot because that is what, once this phase has been done, we will scale at the Swachhta app. Then women investment specifically Jivika Didis, I should say Jivika Didi. So we started discussing with them ki segregation kaise ho. That network we utilized very nicely for our awareness generation. So that was the success of this particular LHI thing. So these numbers, I will not touch upon much on the number, just the last one, where social and institutional building was something which we said. As Rahul sir said, lot of awareness activity happened at the Gram Panchayat level, GPIC, ensuring that they monthly meet. WIMC, ward member committees, they monthly meet. That was something which we emphasized on. Sanitation worker, there were some around 25 areas which we identified a sanitation worker should be there. Starting from all these things. It was food, they all should have ration card. It was shelter, they all should have shelter. It was gender, specifically all women members should know, they should be trained in financial literacy. Also, they should be they should also have some livelihood activities. But advantage in Bihar is that all the women members are generally members of Jivika. So it is generally easy for us to talk upon and do it in the field. So that was something which we focused thing. Yeah, so one thing which was very successful, we moved all ODF to models, and today was the last, and that was last village. Out of the 30 villages, only one village was left. So the team had done with LSBA had supported us. So replicability, as Rahul sir had touched upon it. So one thing is not just GP visits. What was been ensured by LSBA that all other officials, senior officials should also visit and understand the program. How it was important to talk upon IEC. How is it important to talk upon vibrant WPUs? Because WPU, Rahul sir had already touched upon getting land. Waste mere backyard pe nahi, not in my backyard. To in my backyard was a very hard journey, and still we are trying hard. So those photos which you see, ma'am, they are all, seriously, they are all vibrant, very vibrant thing. And so these are just some pictures, not just liquid but also solid, not just solid but also liquid waste. Wherever there were chronic spots, we tried to address all those chronic spots. So building the child, so children, so we created very innovative games. Segregation was a game, something which I think when we took it to the Chief Minister, he also liked, was the game where you actually distribute a lot of waste pictures and ask them to now segregate. So there were 5 desks, everybody was given 2 dustbin, they were asked to segregate, and one child had to go around and collect it. So we just go and say some groups don't segregate. They say, क्यों नहीं करना? नहीं आपको नहीं करना. फिर last when everybody collects and see that waste, then we say now segregate. Then they understand that fixing is important. Otherwise there is a lot of risk which will happen. So there now these children will go back. Same thing we did it with Jivika Didis. So that is when behavioral change. So we have just put some photos there, and something do's and don'ts in MRF center. Safe numbers, where to contact if something happens. All those things also we try to address. Safety gears of sanitation workers were something which we ensured. this is something which I would like to pitch for phase 2. One is clarity. I think when we have more partners, we would require a lot of things, and learning from corporate, we should have a workshop where we create a operational manual, not that mota wala simple manual, which will actually helps in creating a very good clarity across. That would be required. Specifically timely approval, it was very easy for us because all DPRs were, one set was been approved and then letters were been written to district. So it was easier in Bihar and other states, but I think that clarity would be something which we need to focus upon. Sustaining the momentum, this is something, ma'am, I wanted to pitch here, is that we need to create an awarding and rewarding system. Specifically the last thing, we need to create a challenge fund, ma'am. So that, because many of those initiatives, which Rahul sir was also mentioning, would be very small initiative, but there are no funds, allocated funds for that. So if we create a challenge fund in that particular thing, it would really seriously act as a sustaining the momentum. SHG, we have successful models of SHG acting as an aggregator, SHG acting as a waste collectors also. Yesterday we had a SHG member who was been awarded for that particular initiative. So one member can actually influence the complete thing, and there is a beautiful network of SHG. So you don't, and we have, India has always proved that the SHG model is very successful. So user charges collection may not be difficult in that particular thing. Then aggregator, because plastic, scale of plastic is something which is very difficult to achieve in a rural context. So we need to get on an aggregator model. It can be an entrepreneur, it can be an SHG or a block. Some members can act as a larger aggregator thing of the plastic waste management. So that is something. Again, liquid waste, this is something which we have learned. Trash booms and all is something which we have piloted it in LHIs. Then expertise in planning, so corporate as a lead agency is something which we were pushing upon, because every corporate would have their own expertise, not just larger corporates, smaller corporates would also have. So some corporates as lead agency has, that is also something which we are pitching in this stage. So thank you. I just have kept some photos for thought process. Regular health checkup is something which we wanted for waste pickers. Financial literacy is something which we are driving. Monthly meeting of GPIC. So these are some quick takeaways which I just wanted to close my slide with. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Binoy, for the wonderful presentation. We are now going to move on to the next state, which is Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh under LHI has taken up 11 Gram Panchayats, out of which 7 are currently model. Now, this is the only state under LHI which has 11, which is the largest number of Gram Panchayats. We would like to invite Mr. Manoj Shukla, State Consultant, Uttar Pradesh Swachh Bharat Mission, to present on his LHI experiences in UP. This would be followed by a presentation by Mr. Alok Verma, Director, HCL Foundation, on HCL's work in Uttar Pradesh under LHI. We would also like to request our presenters to keep, be cognizant of the time, because we want to finish all our presentations and then break for lunch.
थैंक यू मैम। मैं कल जब मैं यहाँ आया तो मैंने सोचा था कि मैं ISC को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद दूंगा कि उन्होंने इस सदन का मुझे हिस्सा बनाया, लेकिन आज मैं अपने आप को सौभाग्यशाली मानता हूँ कि मैं जो कुछ भी बोलने जा रहा हूँ उत्तर प्रदेश के बिहाफ पर, वो अपनी सेक्रेटरी मैडम के सामने बोलने जा रहा हूँ, और जो हम सब की प्रकाश स्तंभ हैं, लाइट हाउस हैं, दीप स्तंभ हैं। तो मैं इस अवसर को बिल्कुल भी जाया नहीं करूंगा, और मैं एक छोटी सी 2 लाइन की कहानी है कि जब ये लाइट हाउस आया शुरुआत में, तो हम लोग ओरिएंट कर रहे थे अपने यहाँ जिलों को, तो लोगों ने कहा लाइट हाउस क्या है। अब सवाल उठा कि लाइट हाउस क्या है, इसको कैसे किया जाना है, तो हम लोगों ने कहा ODF प्लस करना है, मॉडल करना है, ये करना। किसी को समझ में नहीं आया कि फिर देन लाइट हाउस का मतलब क्या है। तो कुल मिला के ये आया समझ में कि लाइट हाउस ईंट, पत्थर, धातु, कांच का कोई ऐसी व्यवस्था नहीं है, बल्कि ये एक मानवीय कहानी है। और इस मानवीय कहानी को दोहराने के लिए भारत सरकार द्वारा DDWS द्वारा एक नया इनिशिएटिव लिया गया है जिसको लाइट हाउस इनिशिएटिव कहा गया। लोगों की समझ में आया कि वाकई में बहुत कुछ अच्छा होगा। और मैं इस फोरम पर ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि हमारे उत्तर प्रदेश में 13 गांव लिए गए मैम, 7 जनपद, 4 संस्थाएं हैं, 4 कारपोरेट पार्टनर हैं, ITC, SCL, आगा खान फाउंडेशन और टाटा ट्रस्ट। सबसे बड़ा 8 गांव टाटा ट्रस्ट उसके आगा खान फाउंडेशन के पास है। मैं उत्तर प्रदेश के बारे में कोई राय बनाने के पहले मैं आपको एक स्लाइड दिखाना चाहूँगा। ये इसका हटा है, ओके। हालांकि आप सब जानते हैं उत्तर प्रदेश बहुत बड़ा राज्य है, लेकिन ये सिर्फ इतनी ही बड़ी बात नहीं है। आप लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पर देखेंगे कि 7,31,811 ऐसे इलेक्टेड मेंबर्स हैं हमारी ग्राम पंचायत के। अगर हम सब मिलके इनको फोकस कर लें तो किसी अन्य ह्यूमन रिसोर्स की ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। हमारा दुर्भाग्य ये है कि इनको आज तक मेन स्ट्रीम में हम प्रयास करने के बाद भी नहीं ला पाए। मैं इसको आपको इसलिए दिखाना चाहता हूँ कि हमें स्कोप ऑफ वर्क तलाशने की ज़रूरत है उत्तर प्रदेश के परिदृश्य में। नॉट इवन ODF प्लस या ODF की सस्टेनेबिलिटी जो एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा है। जैसा कि अभी पिछली विजिट हुई मैडम की, तो हम लोगों का तमाम मतलब जो हम लोगों का क्या कह सकते हैं जो सोच था वो एकदम से बदला। इंडिविजुअल टॉयलेट को लेके मैम ने बोला कि हमें वाकई में नीड असेस करना है। मैं इस फोरम पर ये स्वीकार करता हूँ कि अभी हम लोगों ने टीम बना के, मैडम ने बोला था कॉल सेंटर इस्टेब्लिश करो, हम लोगों ने कॉल सेंटर इस्टेब्लिश किया। उनसे लगभग 4,000 गाँव में कॉल कराया और निकल के मैम ये आ रहा है कि तकरीबन 10 से 15% गैप है उत्तर प्रदेश में इंडिविजुअल हाउस होल्ड टॉयलेट को लेकर, जो कि बहुत बड़ा नंबर है। तकरीबन 30 लाख, 25 लाख, 20 लाख के आसपास नंबर आता है। तीसरी बात मैं आपको ये बोलना चाह रहा हूँ कि जो ग्राम पंचायतें, जितनी ग्राम पंचायतों में हम काम शुरू करते हैं, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि और स्टेट हमारे काम नहीं करते, उतनी ग्राम पंचायतों में काम करके कोई स्टेट मॉडल हो जाता है। हमारे यहाँ गाजियाबाद से गाजीपुर तक डिफरेंट कैटेगरी के लोग रहते हैं। हम एक जियो जो पास करते हैं ना मैम, लोगों जैसे बिहार सर बोल रहे थे कि हमारे यहाँ ग्रे वाटर की समस्या है। सर पश्चिमी उत्तर प्रदेश में ब्लैक वाटर की सबसे बड़ी समस्या आने वाली है, जिसको हम लोग ट्रेस आउट कर रहे हैं, ऑप्शन भी तलाश रहे हैं। हमें जो एक्सपर्टीज चाहिए वहाँ चाहिए। हम लोगों ने कम्युनिटी बेस, अब देखिए प्रोग्राम शिफ्ट हुआ, इंडिविजुअल व्यक्ति को टारगेट फर्स्ट फेज हुआ, हमने इंडिविजुअल टॉयलेट बनाए। प्रोग्राम शिफ्ट हुआ कम्युनिटी, इंडिविजुअल टू कम्युनिटी को। अब कम्युनिटी, लेकिन बीच में जैसा कि राहुल सर बोल रहे थे, MD साहब, कि फर्स्ट फेज में हमने इंटरपर्सनल कम्युनिकेशन पर इतना अधिक फोकस किया कि लोगों को के दिमाग में टॉयलेट बिल्ड कर दिया। नॉट इवन ऑन द ग्राउंड, उनके माइंड सेट में ये बिल्ड किया कि टॉयलेट कोई ईंट पत्थर की बनी हुई चीज़ नहीं है, मानव सभ्यता है ये। और ये लोगों ने एक्सेप्ट किया। मैम जो गैप सबसे बड़ा देखने को मिल रहा है वो इन दोनों के मध्य जो पिलर होता था इंटरपर्सनल कम्युनिकेशन का, वो इस फेज में कहीं ना कहीं और पुश करने की ज़रूरत है, जिससे हम सस्टेनेबिलिटी वाला पार्ट बचा के रख सकें, सुधार कर सकें। मैम जहाँ तक है उत्तर प्रदेश के प्रोग्रेस की बात, मैं कोई डेटा की स्लाइड नहीं रखा हूँ। हमने आप लोगों के सहयोग से, मिनिस्ट्री के कंटिन्यूअस सपोर्ट से प्रदेश के अपने लगभग 1 लाख गांव को ODF प्लस किसी न किसी कैटेगरी में मार्क कर दिया है। ये डेटा सुनने में बहुत शानदार लग रहा है, लेकिन मैम ये अभी वो है ना, हम उठ के खड़े हुए हैं, गड्ढे को अभी बराबर समतल किया है। अभी गड्ढे पर बिल्डिंग बनाना बहुत बड़ी चीज़ है, जिस पर हम लोग शुरू कर रहे हैं मैम। एक और मैं सक्सेस आपसे साझा करना चाहूँगा मैम, कि नो वन लेफ्ट बिहाइंड सबको टॉयलेट एक्सेस हो, इसके लिए हमने टारगेट किया कि एवरी पंचायत हैव ओन कम्युनिटी सैनिटरी कॉम्प्लेक्स, उनका अपना सामुदायिक शौचालय होगा। और मैम आज के टाइम में स्टेट ने 58,381 कम्युनिटी सैनिटरी कॉम्प्लेक्स बना लिए हैं। हाँ, एक इशू यहाँ भी है कि हम उन सब को फंक्शनल और डेली टाइम टू टाइम खोलने का भी व्यवस्था अगर कर लें तो मैम इसके लिए स्टेट का एक बहुत बड़ा इनिशिएटिव हुआ है, जो हमने सेल्फ हेल्प वुमेन ग्रुप के साथ एक MOU किया है कि उस लोकल में जो महिला समूह है उनको हम 9,000 रुपये पर मंथ देते हैं और वो 6,000 केयर टेकर के लिए और 3,000 रुपये जो सैनिटरी आइटम्स वहाँ आते हैं उसके लिए, और वो चलाने का प्रयास हम लोग कर रहे हैं। तो ये एक बहुत बड़ा प्रयास है मैम। इसके अलावा अगर हम देखेंगे कि उत्तर प्रदेश के कॉन्टेक्स्ट में LHI का क्या स्टेटस है, तो हमारे पास 8 आगा खान फाउंडेशन के पास, 2 SCL फाउंडेशन के पास, 2 ITC के पास, 1 टाटा ट्रस्ट के पास, टोटल 13 में हम लोग काम कर रहे थे। जो काम किया जैसे ही बिहार में कि प्लानिंग पर हमने काम किया, अपने पार्टनर के साथ कैपेसिटी बिल्डिंग पर काम किया, कम्युनिटी लेवल मीटिंग्स की, टेक्निकल सपोर्ट दिया। मैम यहाँ मैं आपके साथ एक एक्सपीरियंस साझा करना चाहता हूँ कि उत्तर प्रदेश में फर्स्ट फेज इन द सेंस 22-23 में हम लोगों ने 7,000 ग्राम पंचायतों को टारगेट किया और वो 5,000 से ऊपर की पंचायतें थीं। मैम उत्तर प्रदेश में तकरीबन 10% ऐसी पंचायत हैं जिनकी पॉपुलेशन 5,000 से अधिक है। 90% पंचायत ऐसी है जो 4,999 पर आके ख़त्म हो जा रही। मैम एक समस्या हमारे पास ये भी है कि चूँकि ऐसा कॉस्ट नॉर्म है कि हम 705 रुपये पाएंगे तब जब आप 5,000 से ऊपर जाएंगे, तो स्टेट का हमारे जो एक बहुत बड़ा फाइनेंशियल हमको अन्य तुलना में बंगाल, वेस्ट बंगाल के, केरल के, इनकी तुलना में जो हमें एक बहुत बड़ा हिस्सा मिल सकता था, जो हमारी LHI के गांव हैं उसमें मैं अगर आपको प्रोग्रेस की बात करूं तो हम लोगों ने इनका प्लान बनाया था, लगभग 2,59,00,000 का प्लान बना था टोटल 13 गांव का, जिसमें से 1,46,00,000 रुपये लगभग SBM का पैसा था और लगभग 150 की गतिविधियां हम लोगों ने प्लान किया था। आज के टाइम में 10 मॉडल हो चुके हैं, 3 अभी हमारे मॉडल नहीं हुए हैं जो कि सैचुरेटेड है ऑनलाइन। वो 1 मिनट का वीडियो और वो लगता है उसमें, इसलिए वो नहीं हो गया, वो 2-4 दिन में हमें लगता है हो भी जाएगा। ये स्टेटस है। आगा खान फाउंडेशन के 2 गांव बचे हैं और SCL फाउंडेशन का 1 गांव बचा है मैम, लेकिन ये सैचुरेटेड है तो हमें लगता है कि आने वाले कुछ दिनों में हो जाएंगे। कुछ IC की गतिविधियां जो प्लान की गई थी, अवेयरनेस की गतिविधियां थी, वॉल पेंटिंग थी, ये एंगेजमेंट विद स्टूडेंट था, स्कूल को फोकस किया था, मीटिंग एंड डिस्कशन थे, स्पेशल डे सेलिब्रेशन जो हमारे यहाँ हम लोगों ने 26 जनवरी वर्ल्ड टॉयलेट डे और ये वर्ल्ड वाटर डे हम लोगों ने सेलिब्रेट किया था इनके साथ। ये कुछ एक्टिविटीज़ की फोटोग्राफ है मैम। ये आगा खान, ये टाटा ट्रस्ट, ITC लिमिटेड का है, SCL फाउंडेशन के हैं। मैम हमारी कुछ 1-2 प्रयास मैम मैं और आपसे साझा कर लूँ जो हम लोगों ने अभी इस बीच में किया है। लगभग पिछली मीटिंग के बाद मैम जय सर ने बोला था कि आप लोगों ने RRC जो बनाए हैं उनकी सस्टेनेबिलिटी का क्या है, तो हम लोगों ने, उन्होंने कहा कि क्या इंडिकेटर, तो हम लोगों ने सर एक ही इंडिकेटर मैम हम लोगों ने बनाया था कि जिस सेग्रीगेशन सेट से इनकम होने लगे ग्राम पंचायत की, हम मानेंगे कि वो फंक्शनल है। तो मैम पिछले महीने से अब तक हम लोगों ने वेबसाइट पर मंथली उनकी एंट्री कराना शुरू किए हैं और मैम इस महीने तक अप्रॉक्सीमेट 1 करोड़ रुपए RRC में जो गार्बेज, जो प्लास्टिक की बिक्री, लोहे की बिक्री या जो खाद बन रही है उसकी बिक्री से हम लोगों ने अर्न किया है, जो ग्राम पंचायतों ने इंटर किया है। ये मैम लगभग 8,000 तक हम लोगों ने RRC बना दिया है, जिसमें से 6,000 फंक्शनल की रिपोर्ट आई है, जो फर्स्ट फेज में हम लोगों ने चयन किया था। मैम एक इनिशिएटिव और हम लोगों ने किया है कि जितने हमारी व्हीकल्स हैं उन ग्राम पंचायतों में हम लोगों ने QR कोड बैंक के साथ मिलकर लिया है और उस पर लगा दिया है। और उसका स्थिति यह है मैम, जो पिछले महीने की रिपोर्ट है, लगभग 49 लाख रुपए हम लोगों ने डोर टू डोर कलेक्शन से कलेक्ट किया है ग्राम पंचायत के। जो OSR का एक अलग से सेपरेट अकाउंट खुला है, जो RGSA का एक इनिशिएटिव है, और उसी अकाउंट में वो लोग उसको डिपॉजिट भी कर रहे हैं। जी मैम, हाँ QR, हाँ दोनों चीज़ें हैं मैम, QR कोड भी कर रहे हैं, कुछ लोग नगद भी दे रहे हैं। कुछ एक मैम रिकमेंडेशन है, सजेशन है, जो इस पहला ये कि अब हो सकता है ये उत्तर प्रदेश के परिप्रेक्ष्य में हो, 8 गांव या 1 गांव या 2 गांव खास करके आप जैसे लोगों के लिए और हमारी भूख के लिए पर्याप्त नहीं है। आप यूनिट लें, ब्लॉक, सबसे छोटा ब्लॉक लें, उससे 2 फायदा होगा। पहला ये कि आप ओन करेंगे ही करेंगे, वो ब्लॉक आपको ओन करेगा। अभी क्या है ना, अभी आप एक ग्राम पंचायत में अगर गए तो आपकी प्रेजेंस दिखती नहीं है। मतलब वो है ना कि समंदर में एक कण, उत्तर प्रदेश में कहीं और होते आप तो ठीक भी था। और दूसरा एक और आपसे हमें चाहिए, आपसे मतलब एक्सपर्ट एजेंसी से, या जो भी जो ट्रेडिशनली काम नहीं कर रहे हैं, जो खास लोग हैं, जो मूल्यवान लोग हैं, उनसे हमें चाहिए कि कम्युनिटी ऑनरशिप और कम्युनिटी पार्टनरशिप, इस दोनों को सजीवता कैसे दें, इन दोनों को जिंदा कैसे रखें, ये बहुत बड़ा चैलेंज है हमारे लिए। हमने स्ट्रक्चर तो बना दिए, और मैं आपको अभी कुछ फोटोग्राफ लाया हूँ दिखाने के लिए। मैम, हम लोगों के यहाँ विरोध शुरू हो गया कि आप कूड़ा घर बना रहे हो हमारे गांव में, बदबू करेगा। तो एक चैलेंज यहाँ भी आया जब हम लोग सेग्रीगेशन सेट बनाने लगे। तो ऐसे प्रधानों ने क्या किया कि उन्होंने महल जैसा RRC बना दिया, 20, 25, 30 लाख रुपए लगा दिए मैम। अब दिक्कत तो है कि वो बन तो गया, चले कैसे? अब चलाने के लिए एक मॉडल आया कि आप स्वयं सहायता समूह को ले आओ। सर, लोकल, ये व्यक्तिगत समस्या हो सकती है, लेकिन चूंकि फोरम ऐसा है तो राय भी अच्छी मिलेगी, और मैम है तो व्यवस्था भी ठीक होगी। समस्या लोकल होता है SHG, वहाँ की 10 महिलाएं हैं। अब सामाजिक मान्यता का भी तो प्रश्न है। कूड़ा छटाई में लगी हुई हैं, उनके जो आत्मबोध होता है ना वो सोसाइटी का, उस पर ठेस है। तो हमें लोकल SHG सेग्रीगेशन के लिए कंटिन्यूअस मिल पाना, ये भी एक चैलेंज है उत्तर प्रदेश में। अब हम लोगों ने कहा कि 6 महीने तक एक जियो किया गया मैम, मनोज सर ने एक जियो किया कि 6 महीने तक आप वित्त आयोग से फंड देके लेबर श्रमिक रखिए और उससे इसको सस्टेनेबल बनाइए। हम लोगों ने ये भी प्रयास शुरू किया। पहले दिन जब इनॉग्रेट हुआ तो लेबर आई 10, 1 महीने बाद लेबर बची 1, जबकि वो सारी व्यवस्था। तो हमें आपसे एक ये भी चाहिए कि इसको जिंदा कैसे रखें, इसका सस्टेनेबल मॉडल क्या हो, क्या ये बनाए गए सारे संसाधन आने वाले टाइम में मॉडल के रूप में एस्टेब्लिश हो पाएंगे? क्योंकि अभी हम लोगों ने 10,000 15,000 बनाए हैं, 1 लाख लगभग बनाने उत्तर प्रदेश में। तो ये 1 लाख बनेंगे। कम्युनिटी टॉयलेट हम लोगों ने 58,000 बनाए, सबकी ज़रूरत भी है, कम्युनिटी की ज़रूरत है, आने जाने वालों की ज़रूरत है। उसके लिए भी हम लोगों ने SHG का एस्टेब्लिश मॉडल फिक्स किया। फिर भी उसकी सस्टेनेबिलिटी और फंक्शनलिटी के लिए हम लोग अभी जद्दोजहद में लगे हैं। तो RRC को कैसे हम लोग सस्टेनेबल करेंगे, यहाँ हमें काम करने की बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है। दूसरा, जब आप गांव चयन कर रहे हो या आप एक्टिविटी डिसाइड कर रहे हो, तो स्टेट की कंसर्न मुझे लगता है निहायत ही आवश्यक है। क्योंकि हमें जब आपने गांव भेजा तो हम जानते भी नहीं थे कि ये गांव कौन सा है, वहाँ स्कोप क्या है, आपकी एक्सपर्टीज़ की वहाँ कितनी ज़रूरत है। इवन वो सब नॉन ODF थे, नॉन ODF प्लस थे, लेकिन फिर भी सहारनपुर में है, मेरठ में है, हमें ज़रूरत गाजीपुर में है। या वो संघर्ष कहाँ है, या कौन सी एक्टिविटी आपने ट्रेडिशनल एक्टिविटी ले ली जहाँ ट्रेडिशनल एक्टिविटी की ज़रूरत नहीं थी। पश्चिम में हमें ब्लैक वाटर की ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम है, सेप्टिक टैंक बहुत है, 100% घरों में सेप्टिक टैंक है, उनके मैनेजमेंट की ज़्यादा ज़रूरत है। सो ये इसमें थोड़ा सा हम आपसे अनुरोध करेंगे। दूसरा, मैंने पहले ही बोल दिया कि हमें एक रियलिस्टिक मॉडल चाहिए अपने स्टेट में। हम किसी अन्य स्टेट में जाके देख सकते हैं, लेकिन उसको अपने यहाँ लागू नहीं कर सकते। सॉरी प्रेजेंटेशन में मिस कर गया, इसको प्रेजेंटेशन लगा दें प्लीज़। नहीं आगे जाएगा, आप बढ़ा दें। एनी प्रॉब्लम? हाँ हाँ, यहाँ रिकमेंडेशन में हम आते हैं। हाँ, तो एक मुझे हमारे ही यहाँ कम से कम 4 एजेंसीज हैं, हम तो चाहेंगे कि इनकी हिस्सेदारी और बढ़े, और दूसरा नंबर आप हमारे सहयोगी हमें मिले जितना हमारे लिए वो कम होंगे। दूसरा एक चीज़ और हम चाहते हैं मैम कि सपोज हम अगर WSP बना रहे हैं तो किसी कम्युनिटी में WSP की एक तो होता है बनाना, एक होता है डिमांड बेस्ड एक्टिविटी। तो हमने प्लान कर लिया, हमने बना दिया, तो कम से कम साल में एक बार एक्सपर्ट एजेंसीज अगर एक R&D कर लें, उनकी सस्टेनेबिलिटी का एक मूल्यांकन कर लें, उनकी क्वालिटी का मूल्यांकन कर लें, उनका फ़ायदा नुकसान का मूल्यांकन कर लें, उनके कम्युनिटी की ऑनरशिप कितनी है कितनी नहीं है मूल्यांकन कर लें, सो दैट कि हम टेक्नोलॉजी में भी चेंज कर सकें, एरिया टू एरिया प्लान भी बदल सकें, अपना कम्युनिकेशन प्लान भी बदल सकें। तो वर्ष में एक बार एक छोटा सा एक रिसर्च टाइप का कुछ हम लोग करके, मैं इसलिए आपसे अपेक्षा कर रहा हूँ कि ये आप ही कर सकते हैं, अगर हम चाहें भी तो नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि वो ना एक्सपर्टीज है ना वो टाइम है। तो ये कुछ रिकमेंडेशन थे, और मुझे लगता है कि कुछ ये फ़ोटोग्राफ हैं, अगर आप ये RRC ये अलीगढ़ का है, इसका इनॉग्रेशन किया था मिनिस्टर साहब ने।
शुक्ला जी
मैम
थोड़ा रिक्वेस्ट करेंगे कि आप
बस लास्ट है मैम, खत्म है।
Alright.
ये कुछ फोटोग्राफ्स ही दिखाने, बाकी और कोई बात ऐसी नहीं है। ये बदायूं के हैं, श्रावस्ती का है, कुशीनगर, पीलीभीत। थैंक यू। और मुझे लगता है बौद्ध दर्शन का एक स्लोगन है अप दीपो भव। तो हम में से सब एक दीप स्तंभ हैं, आवश्यकता है कि उस दीप स्तंभ से अंधेरों को रोशन करना है। तो आइए हम सब साथ मिलके वो किसी ने कहा है कि मैं अकेले मुस्तकबिल की चादर, मुस्तकबिल मतलब भविष्य, मैं अकेले मुस्तकबिल की चादर बुन नहीं सकता, तेरा ताना ज़रूरी है, मेरा बाना ज़रूरी है। थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Winnie, ma'am. I'm sorry we overshot the time. Thank you, ma'am, for being here today. May I now request Mr. Alok Verma, Director HCL Foundation, to share HCL's work in Uttar Pradesh under LHI.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always a tough act to follow a poetic expression. I'll try my best. So, respected and honorable Secretary Ma'am, our Chairman ISC Nana Kidwai ma'am, and our CEO ISC, Natasha Patel ji, all our esteemed panelists gathered here, and all our guests and who are in attendance. Thank you for this opportunity on behalf of HCL Foundation. Yesterday was a good day for us. We were awarded in the category for best communication. So thanks to ISC for that also. LHI initiative started, I think, in last year, and from the very beginning we were part of it, and Natasha reached out to us and explained to us what this initiative was about and how we are trying to create a model and trying to showcase how a partnership with the corporates and the CSRs along with the government and the community can create stable and sustainable structures, particularly in the field of sanitation. And sanitation being a very important narrative to the progress of the country. If we are trying to showcase ourselves as a developed country or soon to be a developed country, we can't have people living in conditions which are unhygienic, unsanitary, prone to illness, and overall poor aesthetics in general. So that requires very committed, very focused and integrative approach, bringing in all stakeholders, bringing in diverse set of people to create that structures, to create that narrative, to create that processes. And that is where we were happy to align with the India Sanitation Coalition. And as far as HCL Foundation was considered, we had initiated a program in 2015 in Uttar Pradesh called Samudaya. And this program was focused upon integrated rural development, and we started our journey from 10 Gram Panchayats of Uttar Pradesh. And when we are talking about integrated rural development, we realized very early that integrated rural development has multiple dimensions, as the word integrated suggests. But one of the most critical dimension, of course, is sanitation. And sanitation itself has multiple dimensions in its own. One is, of course, the physical aspect, where we talk about the structures. Then there is a dimension of solid waste management, liquid waste management, collection of waste, transportation of waste, processing of waste, and then creating structures around water management. So encompassing all these document or dimensions, we learned pretty early that it's not shot in the pan thing. You can't do one and hope to achieve something else. So that is where our approach crystallized in terms of what we want to do, how we want to tackle this problem of development. Because our mandate was very clear. When we were given this mandate of initiating Samudaya project, our mandate was very clear. I don't know which slide we are on. Our mandate was very clear from our chairman that we want to create structures and processes which foster development, which should be replicable and sustainable. All big words, but big words are big because behind them goes lot of efforts. So when we talk about sustainability, when we talk about replicability, when we talk about integrated, on the ground it takes large number of people working in tandem with large number of stakeholders to achieve that. And that is where Samudaya has been, over a period of 8 years, very successful. And that is one of our pride, that we have been so successful. We have worked our way up from the bottom. So we started with 10 Gram Panchayats, went to 41, we went to 164, we went to now 524 in Uttar Pradesh and more than 91 in Tamil Nadu. So that is, we are working close to 650 Gram Panchayats all over India. And that is direct implementation by HCL Foundation. And we work in all the dimensions of development. We try to at least work in all the dimensions of development. But the dimensions are so many, you always leave something for the other person to do. And that is where partnerships like Lighthouse Initiative by Indian Sanitation Coalition and the Ministry of Drinking Water and Sanitation helps us in creating and exploring those structures which are already there, because that is where I am very thankful for the Lighthouse Initiative, the way that they have integrated the corporates, the CSR of the corporates particularly, and the government functionaries. And that is where I think one of the most critical aspect of what we do was strengthened by Lighthouse Initiative. When we are working in a field of water and sanitation and we're trying to achieve at scale, so over the 8 years we have had a lot of experience, as I already mentioned. We try to integrate a lot of aspects from behavior in terms of open deckification free. We started the journey in 2015. Over the time, we worked in our Gram Panchayats to attain the open defecation free status. Then we moved on to, as it's being said, ODF plus, what more needs to be done. So there we started working upon solid waste management, and then liquid waste management, and then water structures, and integrating it all with behavior and communication. So that has been our approach, and today I think we have been part of LHI initiative in only 2 Gram Panchayats, which was Purva and Akbarpur, for the past 1 year, and we were working in those 2 Gram Panchayat for last 6 years. So it was comparatively easy for us. I would say it was comparatively easy for us in terms of the objectives of LHI initiative, because the objective of LHI initiative were framed keeping in mind ODF and ODF plus. And while we were already in both these Gram Panchayats, already moved to integrating all the aspects of waste management. So we, in these 2 Gram Panchayats, we already have solid waste management structures where we work with the community to manage the solid waste across from their bio and organic waste to their cattle waste to, of course, now the plastic waste also. And we also work in both these Gram Panchayats. We have set up water structures. By water structures, I mean we have set up drinking water schemes in both these Gram Panchayats. So setting drinking water schemes in both these Gram Panchayats, we had already devised that if the water is going into the house, the water will of course come out of the house also. And how do we manage that water, that which is coming out of the house? So to manage the waste water, or as Secretary Ma'am said, better to refer it as used water. We had already started working, sorry, this is not changing. On drainage network and pond structures to filter those waters. So we have been working in 30 Gram Panchayats in total, including these 2, where we have set up drinking water schemes. We are setting up proper drainage network along with the community, and filtration chambers along with, once the water is filtered, then it goes into the pond. So we are creating the pond structures wherever the ponds are in dilapidated condition in these villages. We are rejuvenating those ponds, making them ecological structure and something that would serve the need of the villagers. And all this is done with the participation of the community. So, participation of the community in all these dimensions. So, when we are talking about the behavior change, so our teams would engage very closely with the community, including the local self-government, the pradhans, the panchayat secretaries, the ward members, and the panchayat committee members. We would work along with those panchayat members. We would create structures and including the processes which the community can take part in. Community can lead those processes like Prabhat Fairies, where community would itself lead the complete event of creating awareness among the village population about the need for sanitation, what needs to be done for sanitation, and what are the different dimensions of sanitation, including both individual, personal, community, and management dimensions of the sanitation. So teams would go, the community would come, they would start in the morning 4 a.m., 5 a.m. and try to do monitoring activities against open defecation free. And that built a rapport with the community that the truly ODF status was achieved due to the performance and the responsibility that the community itself took. We were there to support them, we were there to provide communication material, to educate on the different aspects, but it was the community ownership. And the community took ownership because we integrated very closely with them. We worked day and night with them. So as I said, my team would go in the nights, spend the whole night there. They would be there at 4 a.m. in the morning along with the community, going across the fields, across everybody with the young children, older men, women, to educate those who are going in the fields that this is something that is not to be done and is harmful in the long run for the community itself. And then once that community ownership was built and strength was built, then taking the next steps have been comparatively easier for us. And that is where I'm saying that the community has to be engaged right from the very start. And this engagement can't happen if we are fly-by-night operators. We come one day, we interact with community, we tell them that this is good for you, do this, and then we leave. So community will also come, have a handshake with you and engage with you, have a tea, and then they will also leave. So it's really tough to make community owners of anything, but it's not that tough also. If you are willing to put in time, that's what we have learned. If one is willing to put in time, it's not that tough also, because the felt need is there, the aspirational need is there, and very truly, I'm telling you, at the ground level, the political need is also there, because it has become one of the key aspects for local self-government to evaluate themselves against. They are competing against each other, they are trying to outdo each other in terms of the kind of services, the kind of facility that they can provide. The only lacuna and only problem that they face sometimes is that because being internal to that community, they need somebody from outside to convince the community to come together, to engage on a continuous basis, and also at some point of time to support them in carrying out the operation and maintenance activities. The structures that we have built 30 water schemes, we have built plastic collection centers, we have built drainage networks along with the community, sitting with them, mapping it out with them, and we have created those community-based structures of village water and sanitation committee to take care of those structures. But they find it difficult because A, it requires technical capacity to manage. These are all physical works. Drainage work is a physical works. So it's very hard for somebody to understand what kind of a structure needs to build, what kind of sloping is to be there, what kind of drainage coverage should be there, what kind of system that they are building. So that technical knowledge cannot be transferred in 1 or 2 sessions. That needs continuous engagement. Secondly, when you are talking about managing those structures, whether it be MRFs at the village level or resource recovery centers, these are again technical in nature. So we have been working very closely with Nodal Authority and under my Clean City program for over the past 4 years. And it's not easy even for such a big authority to manage these technical operations and to anticipate and to believe that a community of the villagers which have not seen such systems, and they will start doing and managing in 2 months, 3 months, is slightly overreaching from where I am standing. So if we want these processes to be taken in a positive sense and to become really operational at the ground level, then we have to engage in a much more intensive manner and a much more long term. So we have supported in creating complete solid waste management structure, but is there expertise available at the village level to understand how that processes work? So it's, we say segregation karte hain. We will bring in somebody to do segregation. But what is segregation? What do you segregate? 80% of the waste in the village is organic waste. So what is there left to segregate? Organic waste should not go out of the house. It should be composted. It should be used there only. So 20% of the waste, or even less in most villages, 15% of the waste. What is that waste? 5%, 4% is plastic. So 5%, 4% plastic means in a village of 200 household, you won't get enough volume of plastic to make a resource recovery center feasible. So that is where we tried, our team initiated, and we tried Hold the Plastic initiative. Every household, rather than throwing it every day in the trash, you have a bag outside your home, keep putting in the plastic. When there is a sizable volume, somebody who can recycle will come and take that, because then it makes economic sense. Otherwise it does not make economic sense. There are 2 polythene packets which are coming out of a household, few sachets, say for a month it does not make 1 kg. So how will they separate the resource on a daily basis, and how will they earn the income out of it? So that is where I think initiatives like this, Hold the Plastic initiative, where we have holding the plastic at the village level, and then creating a structure, a community structure to just drop in your plastic, and after 1 month or there is a sizable, even if after 15 days, if it is sizable, the person who recycles, or at least who sells to the recyclers, will come and collect that plastic. So that's how small initiatives and something that really addresses the problem at the ground level needs to be tackled. And I think that is where I think a Lighthouse Initiative 2 will focus upon, in terms of, so the model is always evolving. We can't rest that, okay, we have created a model. It can be 1 village, it can be 2 village, it can be 3 village, or it can be 10 village, 20 village. But the model is always evolving. Model is not the end. Model is the journey. So that is where I think Lighthouse Initiative would be very encouraging to all of us. And as is being mentioned a lot of time, that more scale should be taken up by corporates and under their initiative. So we are ready to take more scale in terms of multiple gram panchayat, in terms of block, so whatever that structure is. But we would definitely need much more than poetic words to really implement those situations on ground. And that is where I think as Samudaya Director and as HCL Foundation Director, It's my commitment to the Lighthouse Initiative and International India Sanitation Coalition that we'll do whatever it takes to create true models. And it's a long journey, so we can be part of a long journey, and we'll be happy to do our part in that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Verma. I now request Mona Lisa Das, State Coordinator SBMG from Assam, to share her LHI presentation with us. This would be followed by a presentation by Mr. Manoj Kumar, Team Lead WASH Tata Trust.
Very good afternoon to everyone. Respected all the seniors present on the dais and the members present here. I would like to thank ISC-FICCI for inviting us and present here. Straightly, since we are have a short time, so we'll start the presentation. Change nahi ho raha. Thank you so much. First of all, would like to start how we came to know about the LHI. When we came to know about the LHI, so we were also thinking what is the LHI and what is the project is about. So we were not knowing about the GP which the Government of India has chosen for taking up in as a LHI project. After that, when we came to know that the one of the GP out of the 75 GPs, one of the GP in Assam has been taken as the LHI project. So it is Paschim Choigaon GP. There, when we came to know about this, so then after that we were also thinking who is the lead partner with us. Then we came to know that we have been assigned with Tata Trust. We are having one lead partner with us. So we would like to thank Tata Trust also because they supported us very much in every step. The first was we had a meeting in the chamber with our mission director sir, our chief engineer sir, and then the Tata Trust Rituparna and other persons were there. So first we decide what to do and from where we have to start. What will the first step for us? How to start? So first when we went there, then that is the one slide I would like to show. So so first of all, when we when we had a meeting with Tata Trust, so we first decided that first of all what to do. Then we decided that first we will do the survey, because when we have to start, first of all हमको ये देखना है कि उस LHI GP जो हम लोगों ने लिया है, what we need to do there, what is the demographic and other components are there, हमको क्या करना है वहाँ पे जाके. So we asked Tata Trust to go and have, and we also went there along with them to have a survey of that GP. वहाँ पे क्या present है, क्या present नहीं है, how the villagers are managing all the solid waste and whatever the liquid waste they are managing there. So we, first of all, the first step which we took is that we had a survey of that particular GP along with the villagers and the GP presidents. We included GP functionaries also there. We went there and then we have meetings with the GP presidents and other ward members and the villagers also. So the first question which came up from the villagers and the GP president is, what is LHI? What do you mean by LHI? Means what is the meaning of the Lighthouse project? Then we explain them that LHI actually hai kya, what is the LHI, why Government of India has chosen your GP as a LHI project, क्यों लिया है LHI, क्यों पश्चिम चौगा को ही क्यों लिया LHI. Out of all of the GPs in the Assam, we are having 2,693 GPs in all over the Assam, but why only the Paschim Choiga has been taken as a LHI project in Assam? So we explain them that your GP will be one of the example, or it will be the replica, and it will be the one of the example. So to मतलब दूसरों को दिखाने के लिए, तो टू शो द अदर जीपीज दैट हाँ इस जीपी में ये काम हुआ है, सॉलिड वेस्ट मैनेज यहाँ पे हो रहा है, लिक्विड वेस्ट मैनेज यहाँ पे हो रहा है, सो दैट द अदर जीपीज ऑल्सो गेट अफेक्टेड, और उनको भी ये एक उनको भी लगे कि अच्छा इस जीपी में ऐसा काम हो रहा है, सो वाई शुड नॉट अस, क्यों हमारा जीपी हम क्यों नहीं कर सकते. सो वी एक्सप्लेन देम अबाउट ऑल द थिंग्स व्हाट दे नीड टू डू, how they have to support us, in which step they have to support us in this project. So uske baad then they said that, okay, we get the information, and then they shows their willingness and keenness that okay they are also ready to ठीक है हम लोग को जीपी को क्या करना है. नाउ दे आस्क अस, नाउ यू पीपल टेल अस दैट व्हाट वी नीड टू डू. Then after that, what we do after that, then we the next step what we did is, along with the Tata Trust, we sat together and we prepared the DPR. Once we जब सर्वे हो गया, once we came to know about all the SWM and the other LWM and the other things, how the villagers are taking up all the things there, then taking in mind to that things, we just prepare the DPR along with the Tata Trust. Then after that, then comes then planning and implementation of at the GP level. Then comes the selection of the site. Now we explain, then again we again go there, then again we took meetings with the GP functionaries, GP presidents, ward members, villagers. Then we explain them what is MCF and what is plastic waste management and what is soak pit. Now the one thing is that in Assam, the biodegradable waste is not a major problem, along with the liquid waste management also, because what people of Assam used to do there, they are having cattle there, cows are there and other cattle are there, goats are there. So basically in Assam, when the biodegradable waste generate there, they used to feed them to the cattle. And what they used to do in case of liquid waste management, maximum villages in Assam, we are having duckweed ponds, maximum villages. So what, and also in Assam also we are having kitchen gardens, because people of Assam are maximum वहाँ पे क्या होता है, आपका खेती करते हैं लोग, तो वहाँ पे भी क्या होता है, पीछे बैकयार्ड में उन लोगों का कुछ ना कुछ तो सब्जी वब्जियाँ वो लोग कर ही रहते हैं. बैकवर्ड इन द बैकवर्ड ऑफ द हाउस होल्ड्स दे आर हैविंग किचन गार्डन्स, बनाना ट्री हो गया या स्मॉल साग या कुछ हो गया, विलेजेस वेजिटेबल्स. सो दे यूज टू जो भी किचन से निकलता है वॉट एवर द वेस्ट, लिक्विड वेस्ट, तो वहाँ पे पीछे आइदर किचन गार्डन में जाता है, और अदरवाइज वी आर हैविंग डकविक पॉन्ड्स, देयर डकविक पॉन्ड्स फिशेज आर देयर. सो बेसिकली वहाँ पे डकविक पॉन्ड्स में जाता है. सो मैनेजमेंट ऑफ बायोडिग्रेडेबल एंड लिक्विड वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट इज नॉट अ बिग इशू इन Assam. So at the very first step, it becomes very hard for us to explain that why you need a MCF and why you need a soak pit. Because जब हम लोगों ने उनको explain किया, then they ask us, हमारा तो manage हो रहा है, because biodegradable जो भी निकल रहा है, kitchen waste जो भी निकल रहा है, we are feeding to the cattle, and whatever the liquid waste are coming out, that also has been managed, because पीछे तो kitchen garden है, ऊपर से हम लोग का duckweed pond भी है, we are managing then. Then why you are insisting us to have a MCF as well as a soak pit? Then we explain them, okay, you're managing your biodegradable waste, you're managing your liquid waste, but the main thing what you are doing when generating a plastic, because ऐसा तो नहीं है कि विलेज में प्लास्टिक वेस्ट नहीं है, चिप्स का पैकेट तो निकलता है, ब्रेड का पैकेट तो निकलता है, और वॉट एवर द मार्केटिंग यू आर डूइंग फ्रॉम द मार्केट, वहाँ पे हाट बाजार तो लगता है, तो वॉट एवर द मार्केटिंग यू आर डूइंग, यू आर टेकिंग द all the things in plastic. So what you are doing in with those plastics. So उनको फिर हम लोगों ने फिर then we explain them, then why you need a MCF and why you need a soak pit. Then we explain then what are the advantages of soak pit, तो वो भी हम लोगों ने explain किया. Then they slowly the villagers in that GP as well as the ward members and the GP president, then they came to know, and then slowly they support us very much in that case. So after the site selection, we prepared the GPDP. We had a meeting with all the GP functionaries there. Then we calculate there, and then we just have a one-to-one discussion there. Then we explain them how to take all the MCFs and all the soak pits and how to prepare a GPDP. Then eventually they prepare a GPDP. Then after that,
Ma'am, can we
yeah,
move forward?
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Then after that, in Assam, the sanitation SBMG part is been taking looking after by the PHE department in convergence with PNRD department. So what we used to do, we used to give them technical support. We used to transfer 70% fund of SBMG from PHE department, and remaining the 30% they used to do from the 15 FC PNRD department. So in this case, since it's a special case, it's a LHI project. So what we planned, we had a meeting with the mission director sir and all the GP functionaries and all those. So we decided that we develop a modalities of the fund transfer. And for this special case, we transfer all, first of all, we have prepared a DPR, then we ask them to incorporate in GPDP, then they incorporate all those in GPDP and took the approval. Then after that, whatever the amount came there, so all the 70% funds from the SBMG part, we transfer them in the advance, so that it will be easy for them to, start the construction. And then along with the estimates, because since we are supporting them as a technical partner, so we give all the estimates of MCF and plastic waste management and soak pits. So they started the construction and eventually it's completed. So then comes the capacity building. Since all the assets has been created there in LHIGP, soak pits are also there, MCFs are also there, then comes the capacity building. So we have a plastic waste management unit there, machineries are also there, vehicles are also there, and the collection has also been started there. So we included the local SHGs members, all are the ladies there. So as we trained them about how to, first of all, we trained them how to segregate the waste. Then we took them to the plastic waste management unit. Then there we explained them about all the machineries, how it works there. Then how to segregate plastics, whatever that comes from the market area and the household level. So how to segregate those plastics, we also explained them and trained them there. Then also after, then how to generate the revenue from them. That also we took the, we gave the training to the local SHGs members there. Then next, the plastic waste management unit. Regarding the plastic waste management unit, we have a plastic waste management unit in the block itself there. We have already started the collection of the plastics and other things has already been started there. The SHG members are also very keen to work with all those things, and we have linkage whatever the plastics are generated there. We have linkage it with the PWD, because we have an outlet there along with the block level block office there. It's hardly 1 to 2 kilometers there. The PWD in Assam, a stretch has road 1.5 kilometer, 2 kilometer stretch has already been used. Plastic has already been used by the PWD department for constructing of the roads. So we have linked that thing with the PWD department. Even we have shown the SHG members that whatever the crushed plastics which came out from the crusher or whatever they're in the PWD outlet, so how they use their, what amount of bitumen they are using and how the plastics has been used in the road construction, that also we have explained there. And we have linked that thing with the PWD department also. The MOU is awaited, so we are working on that. And also here I would like to say about something about the MCS. Since the collection has already been started there, so we have already taken up about the rack pickers, the local rack pickers, whoever there. So what they used to do there, whatever the recyclable materials are there, they used to take up those recyclable plastics and other things. And non-recyclable plastic, they used to carry them to the plastic waste management unit. So, would like to mention here that since the Assam has already been declared as a 100% ODF in aspiring category, some 7,000 plus villages are already in rising category. In LHF, this Paschim Chogao, all assets are already there. I mean, MCFs are also there, and whatever the assets we require for solid waste management, all the assets are there. Within 2 to 3 days, we will be able to declare it as a model, because due to some MIS issues and some technical glitches, we are not able to declare it as a model GP, but within 2 to 3 days, we will be able to declare it. So, these things I have already explained in the starting of my PPT, that how we came up with the GP functionaries and how I mean, what is the impact after when they जब उनको दिखा कि MCF में collection, then the collection in the MCF it started. लोग वहाँ पे फिर जितने भी प्लास्टिक या अदर जो भी नॉन बायोडिग्रेडेबल वेस्ट थे वो वहाँ पे कलेक्शन वहाँ पे स्टार्ट हो गया. आई विल शो द पिक्चर्स आई हैव. देन अगेन प्लास्टिक वेस्ट मैनेजमेंट में भी प्लास्टिक्स आना स्टार्ट हो गया. So what is the impact, how it impacted to the GPs, people there residing there? So they are very much happy क्योंकि उनको ये भी लग रहा है कि that all the other things has been manage हो रहा है. And then the thing is that they are also happy कि okay चलो अच्छा है हम लोग का GP, that their GP will be one of the example to the other GPs, and they feel very proud that okay they can say to other their whatever the other villagers and other GPs that देखो हम लोग का GP मतलब इतना manage कर रहा है. So that is the main thing which we get feedback from the villagers. So these are some of the pictures would like to show here. That is the capacity building with the community involvement, all the meetings which we did. This is the what we I have just explained about the capacity building, about the SSGs. This is the MCF which we have constructed, and then we took them to that site MCF where MCF is there, and then we explain about how the MCF works there, whatever the things we used to collect there, and how it will be managed. These are the forward linkages of the plastic waste management unit. There the plastics left side, if you can see the left side, there we are explaining about the machines and all things to the SSG members. Then the plastics, and then here right side the one outlet is there of the PWD department. So there we used to carry those plastics which has been crushed, and then we used to carry to those that PWD department crushed. So these are the these two are the MCS which we have created, and this is the soak pit which we have constructed. PNRD department has constructed there. This is the transformation of the GP. That means left side is this the before picture of that GP, and right side is the after picture of that GP. So would like to conclude here since we are running of the time. So thank you so much for inviting us. Thank you so much. Okay. Now Manoj.
I will just take 5 minutes because he explained everything. Nothing to add. In the interest of time, I think I just say a few words on behalf of Tata Trust. We are working in almost in 5 states on LHI phase 1, almost 8 GPs, and Assam is one of the states where we started working on Paschim Chaigaon. So it's very useful partnership with the state government put together and for last 1 year, and we have very good coordination in the state also. Having said that, 3-4 things which I wanted to put together. So we have seen all these things before, after everything. The important thing, like last time also when we had this workshop in July, I mentioned that PPCPSN, the C comes in between. PCP, Public Community Partnership, and seeing is believing. Something you have to create. See, for example, we always talk about this assets building, everything. बट कम्युनिटी को दिखाना क्या है? सी अगर आप देखोगे नहीं फिर क्या बताएंगे? सो वन इज थिंग दैट वी हैव टू क्रिएट सच मॉडल्स, सच इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर इन प्लेस. वो टिन पिट क्या है, सोक पिट क्या है, उनको पता ही नहीं है ठीक से. सो क्रिएट सम मॉडल्स हियर इन पी पॉकेट्स, देन शो देम दैट दिस इज व्हाट एग्जैक्टली एंड व्हाट इज द फंक्शन. उनको बहुत दिखाना नहीं कि बहुत हाई फाई टेक्नोलॉजी है इसमें, सिंपल टेक्नोलॉजी है. एंड सेकेंड थिंग आई वांटेड टू कंसंट्रेट देम मोर ऑन दैट, दी लेट अस यूज मोर ऑफ दिस नेचर बेस्ड टेक्नोलॉजीज. बहुत ज़रूरी है कि आपके गांव में जहाँ जाते हैं, सी वी ब्रिंग ऑल दिस बिग टेक्नोलॉजीज, देन O&M का प्रॉब्लम होगा. द मोमेंट यू पुट बहुत अच्छा बहुत फोटोग्राफ निकाल लिया, आई एम ट्राइंग प्रैक्टिकल थिंग्स बिकॉज वी हैव सीन ऑन द ग्राउंड, लगा दिया 1.5 साल के बाद काम करना बंद कर दिया. सो वी नीड सम टेक्नोलॉजीज विच आर एक्चुअली कटिंग अक्रॉस एज वेल. उसमें आपका जो वहीं इंस्टीट्यूट कर सकते हैं, लाइक वी हैड अ लॉट ऑफ डिस्कशन द मॉर्निंग ऑल्सो. सो वी ट्राइड डिफरेंट टेक्नोलॉजीज ऑन सॉइल बायोटेक्नोलॉजी, यू नो, कंस्ट्रक्ट वेटलैंड्स ऑल दिस थिंग्स ऑल्सो. फॉर ग्रे वाटर का पूरा प्रॉब्लम है, तो आपको यू हैव टू गो फॉर सर्टेन, यू नो, देर आर नेचर इज गिवन लॉट ऑफ, यू नो, दिस थिंग, द विजडम. फॉर एग्जाम्पल कैना इंडिका आपका है, यू कैन ईजिली ट्रीट योर ग्रे वाटर. कैना इंडिका आपको जो हिंदी में आई डोंट नो व्हाट इज इट, इट्स लाइक बनाना पीसेस होते हैं छोटे छोटे, यू पुट ऑन द मड, just less few layers, it won't cost you anything, वही मिलेगा आपको. It treats, you know, these are biological, these are all phytoremediation. So why don't we bring all this wisdom we have learned from our ancestors, everything. So institute हमें करना है. अगर बहुत बड़ा टेक्नोलॉजी ला के देखते हैं, see, again depends on your kind of, you know, the nature of grey water, black water. Simple FSTP के लिए we had the sessions from biofilters using, you know, earthworms, the Australian species, everything. Can't we do something on this? Let us think on these things that जो आपको नेचर में है उसको लेके हम उसको ये करें, इसका मोड ऑफ लाइक नेचर बेस्ड टेक्नोलॉजी पे काम करें. सेकेंड थिंग इज दैट आपका है बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट दैट सोशल बिहेवियर कम्युनिकेशन फॉर टाटा ट्रस्ट, एनी अदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑल्सो इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट वंस यू बिल्ड एसेट ऑल्सो फ्रॉम स्टार्टिंग, प्लानिंग बहुत जरूरी है आपको. राइट फ्रॉम द प्लानिंग यू हैव टू इन्वॉल्व कम्युनिटी. उनके गाँव में काम कर रहे हैं हम, उनको बिना इन्वॉल्व करे नहीं कर सकते हम. एट द सेम टाइम व्हाट हैपन दैट विल द कम से कि तो आपने बना दिया ना, हमें चाहिए नहीं. वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द नीड्स ना. स्वच्छ भारत मिशन में भी हमने काफ़ी सारे बना दिए हैं, बट ऑन ग्राउंड इट 70%. हमें नहीं चाहिए, आप क्यों बना दिया? तो कम्युनिटी का जो नीड है उसको आप परखें पहले और उसके साथ बैठ के काम करें. रैदर कि आप जाके ट्विन पिट बना देंगे, सिंगल पिट बना देंगे, या हम बायो टॉयलेट बना देंगे. नो, दे वोंट एक्सेप्ट. उनका अपना कल्चर इशूज है, देयर आर कल्चर इशूज ऑल्सो. सो वी हैव टू सी ऑल दिस थिंग्स. सो वेर एवर वी आर वर्किंग वी ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड देयर नीड्स फर्स्ट, देयर कल्चरल इशूज. बेस्ड ऑन दैट यू कम योर प्रपोजल कि ये कर सकते हैं तो कैसे कर सकते हैं. थोपना नहीं हमें. हमने सीखा कि थोपना नहीं आपको जबरदस्ती कि हम बहुत इंटेलिजेंट है तो हम थोप देंगे जाके. नो, दे आर मोर इंटेलिजेंट अस. वो बताएंगे कहाँ क्या करना है. सो दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. उसके बाद वन मोर थिंग वांटेड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि वी आर टॉकिंग ऑल दिस इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर क्रिएशन एवरीथिंग, क्लाइमेट रेजिलेंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर विच इज़ नीड द वर्ल्ड. क्योंकि हम क्लाइमेट चेंज की बात कर रहे हैं, बहुत बार जा रहे हैं, कॉप में जा रहे हैं. जो भी एसेट्स क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, फॉर एग्जाम्पल यू टेक टॉयलेट, वॉट एवर इट इज़, उस पर हम क्लाइमेट रेजिलेंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर खड़े कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं. द SDG इंडिकेटर्स 9 and 9.1 विच इंडिकेट दैट क्लाइमेट रेजिलेंट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर हमें करना है. कैन वी थिंक ऑन दोज लाइन्स कि कैसे हम काम कर रहे हैं जहाँ क्लाइमेट चेंज कम हो उस पर. थर्ड इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, ऑक्यूपेशनल हेल्थ हजार्ड पे काम कर रहे हैं. बिकॉज वर्कर्स को हम देते हैं सब कुछ, बट यू नो दे आर लेस पेड. 5,000, 6,000, 3,000 देते हैं, उनको सबसे ज़्यादा जाना चाहिए हमको. एंड वी हैव टू ऑर्गेनाइज फ्यू ट्रेनिंग्स फॉर देम कि ऑक्यूपेशनल हेल्थ हजार्ड पे कैसे काम करें. काफ़ी सारी बीमारियाँ होती है. सेप्टिक टैंक क्लीनर्स जो होते हैं वो 40 साल से ज़्यादा जिंदा नहीं होते हैं. दे डाई आफ्टर 40 years. उनका स्किन डिजीज एवरीथिंग कम्स. और वी डोंट हैव डाटा ऑन दैट इन इंडिया. एवरी डे देयर इज़ वन डेथ एटलीस्ट इन सिटी या अर्बन एरिया में ले लो. वी डोंट हैव डाटा ऑन दैट. कितने लोग मर जाते हैं सेप्टिक टैंक क्लीन करते करते. So can we think on these things apart from in the LHI or maybe it's a model areas that these are the issues where we have to really work on the कि occupational health hazard पे काम कर सकते हैं. Work on nature based technologies, more on that. Climate resilient technologies पे ज़्यादा काम करना हमें, so that you know the carbon footprint आप जब हम बात कर रहे हैं climate action पे, climate change पे है, उस पर हम कैसे कम कर सकते हैं. So these are 3-4 things. I think these are the thought process which we have to really inculcate in down the line. Wherever we speak and we start, you know, doing the LH implementation or model is, we try to imbibe all these things कि planning stage में हम क्या करना है, कैसे इसको हम आगे लेके जाएं. Let us do some few models in the country. Maybe few GPs you take up. Let us take a few GPs and demonstrate these climate resilient model, nature-based technologies, simple technologies also, and let us see how it works. It works. So ये, sorry. I think she explained everything. So you see this, so asset creation language SBCC. Asset आप create कर दोगे, लेकिन साथ साथ में आपको IEC और IEC से ज़्यादा आपको SBCC करना है, सोशल बिहेवियर कम्युनिकेशन पे ज़्यादा काम करना है, बिहेवियर पे. अनलेस उसका काम नहीं होगा आपका. Yeah, these are things are just going PRXS, simple, this simple text सब हर लोग करते हैं, लेकिन इस पर आपको समझाना पड़ेगा कि क्या एग्जैक्टली करना है आपको। भाई हम आपके गांव में आए हैं काम करने के लिए, ठीक है आप काम करो, लेकिन इन्वॉल्व करो उनको किस पे करना है, सो दे अंडरस्टैंड बेटर देन अस उनके गांव के बारे में। सी देयर आर फ्यू कम्युनिटी विमेन कह रहे हैं, हम विमेन को इन्वॉल्व करेंगे, द सेम टाइम ऑल्सो यू हैव टू इन्वॉल्व मेल ऑल्सो, कि होता क्या है ना गांव में हम लोग ज़्यादा फोकस किया हो जाता है फीमेल करके, मेल बोलते ठीक है आपका काम है, मेल फीमेल करेगी, हमें तो नहीं करना है। डिसीजन मेकिंग में बहुत काम आता है कि दोनों के साथ करें, जेंडर का मतलब ये नहीं कि सिर्फ फीमेल ही करे। लाइक इन ओडिशा ट्रांसजेंडर कम्युनिटी पूरा वेस्ट को मैनेज करती है, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर सप्लाई मैनेज करती है, सो दे ऑल्सो कलेक्ट यूजर फी। ट्रांसजेंडर कम्युनिटी, हैव यू थॉट ऑफ लाइक इन्वॉल्विंग ट्रांसजेंडर कम्युनिटी इन दीज एक्टिविटीज व्हेन यू टॉक अबाउट जेंडर? तो ये बहुत जरूरी है आपको। So these are few pictures I'm just putting, I'm not getting into textual this thing. So we did all these things along with the state government support, everything. So it's going to be kind of, you know, mutual this thing. Assets creation किया हुआ है. We involve children or school children also, क्योंकि बहुत जरूरी है, because we have been talking to school children for last 20-30 years कि they are the मसीहा है. The key takeaways which understood that आपको continuously, ऐसा नहीं कि आपने अच्छा एक साल कर दिया then you leave, नहीं होता है, because you have created assets. बट यू हैव टू एंगेज देम। हम लोग बोलते हैं ना कि कम्युनिटी मैनेज करते हैं, कम्युनिटी को हुआ वी हैव टू मैनेज कम्युनिटीज, वी हैव टू एंगेज देम, नॉट मैनेजिंग देम। अगर आप बोलोगे मैनेज करेंगे तो भाग जाएंगे, वी हैव टू एंगेज देम। सो वी हैव टू रियली यू नो स्टार्ट यू नो कॉइन दिस टर्म्स। बहुत सिंपल वर्ड है कम्युनिटी एंगेजमेंट, कम्युनिटी मैनेजमेंट पे। Yeah, these are few pictures from ISA team visited last time and we met the SMD office everywhere. So this is like, you know, बहुत ही हैप्पीएस्ट मोमेंट होता है कि आप कुछ करते हो ऑन द ग्राउंड, देन यू सी द रिजल्ट्स, बट यू हैव टू गो माइल्स। इट्स नॉट जस्ट ईयर 1 year, कीप ऑन डूइंग दिस थिंग्स। या सो माय लास्ट वर्ड्स वंस अगेन, लेट अस वर्क ऑन दिस सीइंग इज बिलीविंग कॉन्सेप्ट, क्रिएट सम काइंड ऑफ क्लाइमेट रेजिलेंट टेक्नोलॉजीज, रेजिलेंस, नेचर बेस्ड टेक्नोलॉजीज एंड इन्वॉल्व कम्युनिटीज, बिकॉज दे आर द फोरफ्रंटर्स ऑफ दैट। उनके लिए हम काम कर रहे हैं, सो कल साथ में काम करना है। या थैंक यू सो मच फॉर गिविंग दिस अपॉर्चुनिटी, थैंक यू।
Chandrakant sir, COO Community Development, Ambuja Cement Foundation will present his experience under LHI in Gujarat.
Can you arrange the presentation? So I will, in the interest of time, let me start. I think we have heard from secretary, from the state representative, corporates, Tata Trust representative. At different level, I think we have seen the perspective from the secretary ma'am. I think it's a mammoth task, but very happy to learn that there are about 20% of country's villages are moving in this direction of solid and liquid, having solid and liquid management system in place and at different stage of their journey. Ambuja Cement Foundation, as a part of LHI, has taken up this responsibility in 4 states, which is Gujarat, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Himachal Pradesh, 5 districts, 7 block, 14 panchayat and 28 villages. So as mentioned, I will be focusing on Gujarat. The journey at different state has been very different. So in the interest of time, I will just focus on few learning which we have during this process. I think first and very important is I think a lot of work which we have done in SBM1, where we have I think lots of focus on behavior change communication, social behavior change communication is already there. How we can build on those aspects and make it as a community initiative under LHI, and how that individual behavior change perspective can now become community level initiative, because it's observed that as an individual, I think we have changed our behavior a lot, but when we are in public or in a common places, that behavior is again still a problem, and that is creating problem when it comes to solid and liquid waste management, whether it is urban or a rural context in our area, in the country. So that is the foremost. Secondly, the size of population is very significantly across the villages, from few hundred to few thousand up to 10,000, 12,000. And I think Manoj was very right that we need to be little innovative and bring very innovative solutions which were already there, I think, in some or other way, where we deploy those solutions in a small setup, which is cost effective and easy to maintain and owned by the community. Third things, I think with 75 Gram Panchayat and many partners in about 7-8 states, I think it's high time, like I think Binoy mentioned about, to reflect on and prepare a very A4 size experience sheet at what are the key things and how we want to now scale up in the next phase will be very crucial in terms of taking the next phase, and where we can at least remove the time lags which we experienced during first phase. I think it was a very difficult time when we sign up this for initial 4 or 5 months, at least ISC team, and we were interacting continuously, and sometime it was frustrating situation if things are not moving. But I think with the experience of last almost now 1 year, I think we can connect those dots and put a framework where we can fast track this process and implement in a mission mode in time to come. So I think in terms of this particular initiative in Gujarat, the village is Gir Somnath in Gujarat. I'm sorry. So I will not skip few slide here. I think this is the Vadnagar village, which is a fairly large village with a population of 10,000 plus person, as well as having 1,700 plus households. So it's a fairly large village, and at the same time the second village is very tiny village with less than 1,000 population, and we are almost completing the entire village plan which we have prepared for both this village. So the situation was similar what we have learned or here since morning. I think there was no system, there was lack of awareness and attitude toward cleanliness in general. Effort for Gram Panchayat was not looking at this as a problem and in their area. So I think that's igniting those spark was a initial focus, and I think once that was done, I think, and with focus with engaging with the district and the block team and the state team, I think things started rolling down, and finally we could achieve what was planned. So all these are the processes I have outlined, but I will skipping that because this is similar what we have heard from other speaker. And this is what we have built in terms of infrastructures, and now things are in place. We are focusing on operationalizing everything in terms of building capacity, training and all that, so that now it operate at the optimum level and we achieve the objective. Behavior change was a constant process throughout the journey at all the level, and I think we have worked with the school, we have worked with the self-help group in the villages, we have worked with the farmer groups. Cleanliness drive we have organized and campaign, and everything was done there. Role of the Gram Panchayat was crucial, and activation of that role took little time, but I think we are happy to say that now Gram Panchayat own the entire project and they are taking the responsibility. One of the interesting thing, especially in the Vadnagar village, which is a fairly large village, where plastic collection was done through a institutional process. A SHG specifically started the process. An SHG is part of the Gujarat Livelihood Promotion Company GLPC NRLM program, and they are collecting these plastic waste. They are getting 10 rupees per kg, and they have further MOU with Ambuja Cement to process that plastic, and Ambuja Cement is also providing 4 rupees for transportation and logistic cost. And happy to say that in, I think, last 2 months only, they have collected about 2,500 kg of plastic and supplied to Ambuja Cement. So that kind of thing, and basis this experience, foundation has signed agreement with district administration to replicate this in all the panchayat of the district. If any panchayat is interested in supplying plastic waste collected at in their respective panchayat, so that is also one of the development which we had during this LHI, that how we can move from experience of one panchayat to the larger area. And the cement cleaner has that facility of utilizing that waste plastic as an energy source, and that is what we are focusing here for at the district scale also, and how we can establish the supply chain and work toward a robust mechanism for the handling the plastic waste. So this was about that self-help group and how they are collecting plastic and supplying to Ambuja Cement. So in terms of outcome, I have already mentioned few of them, but in both the villages, I think all the plan interventions are completed in terms of processes, in terms of behavior change communication, in infrastructure, operation, training and maintenance. Now it is, since we are already there as a foundation for long term, we will definitely work with the community to ensure the operation of this infrastructure, and keep working with the community to plug the gaps and bring some innovative technology in terms of managing liquid waste and all that. And that's where we are, and very happy to be part of this initiative. And thank you, Natasha and team, for inviting me to share my experience. I think it's a wonderful journey altogether, because working together is comes with some certain challenge, but once we overcome those challenges, I think we have fantastic result which we are listening from the morning. So thank you so much, and looking forward to working together for a larger scale.